Hello, welcome to Subspace DevSync, bi-weekly DevSync. We'll be discussing things that have happened over the last couple of weeks, things we're working on, um, any hot topics, although I don't think I see any of those coming from the community. So yeah, so first, why don't we get started with the big thing that's really been happening over the last few weeks and kind of is culminating now in the Stake Wars update, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. So we, since the last DevSync, we kicked off phase 3 of Stake Wars, which invited nominators on board. So Stake Wars stats as of right now, we have over 408,000 TSSC staked. Of that, we're seeing around 300,000 staked by 147 operators and around 100,000 staked by 430 nominators, which is great. We're seeing those nominator numbers increase day by day. It looks like quite a few came on board over the weekend, which is wonderful to see. But I will encourage everyone who's got some TSSC, maybe you didn't farm 100 enough to run an operator yourself, but a nice easy way to pump your stack rather than just sit on them. You can stake them to a nominator. It's really lovely to see the distribution. We can see the nominator count on the staking interface, and I'm really pleased and excited to see the nominator pools for the operators are constantly increasing. As Jeremy said, we don't have any hot topics. I know that we're just very slightly behind on a documentation update, but we don't have any burning issues from the community. We were very careful to set expectations that we fully anticipated something going wrong, but we've really been able to thread the needle so far, which is obviously testament to all the engineers on this call and in the department at large. So yeah, really great. No massive hot topics. We do still have logs that farmers and operators are seeing about the equivocation error, and I am told that there's a PR to log the signing key, I think is how we're going to do it, to determine exactly who is managing to run two operators with the same signing key. So just be warned that we're on the verge of finding out who you are. We don't want to slash you because I expect it will be some misunderstanding that's an education thing rather than a malicious thing. But once we identify you, we'll be trying to find out who you are and reaching out to get you sorted out. And finally, from Ecosystem, we are planning a special edition developer office hours on Wednesday, Emil and I. It's going to have the official announcement of a new community application, which has been kind of soft announced by Nazar a couple of times, and the unveiling of an exciting new incentivized contest. I'm not going to give you any more teaser than that. Keep an eye on the announcements channel in Discord, and there will be more details coming out as we approach Wednesday. But yeah, that's the update from Ecosystem. Jeremy, thanks.
Right. Thank you, Jim. So a new incentivized contest. That sounds exciting. So looking forward to hearing more about that. All right. And as Stake Wars has progressed, and we're now in phase 3, which is the final phase, and we've really reached most of the milestones we were hoping with Gemini 3G, which means that soon we'll be launching Gemini 3H. We're actually, if you look at the when Subspace post or the kind of calendar that we've had set, December 20th has been the target date for our launch of Gemini 3H. We're still determining whether that's the right target date or if that's the date that we're going to go with. There's a few things we'd like to get in there ahead of time, so we'll see. But things are moving along well. I think generally speaking, we're pretty happy with where we're at. So things that we're looking for in Gemini 3H, though: full fraud-proof implementation. So we're just about there. I think we're on the last major PR should be opening up soon with the legal transaction to kind of handle the last piece there. And I know Ning's going to talk in a minute about some of the work he's been doing, which has also generated a little bit more extra work for fraud proofs as um, we're finding all the holes. So another thing we're looking at for 3H is cross-domain messaging. So and I guess there'll be a fraud proof associated with that as well once we get that updated and enabled. Instantiable domains, so permissionlessly instantiable domains. So right now we have Nova. We it's a permissioned call to create that, so only Subspace can do such. But pretty soon, hopefully in 3H, we'll be opening that up, and anybody will be able to instantiate their own EVM domain. So that will be exciting. And then finally, a lot of work is being done right now on kind of figuring out the final fee and reward models. So Daria has been working very diligently to get specifications finished. We're still debating several different issues on related to that, but hopefully here in the next few weeks, we'll get that all ironed out, implemented, and we'll be able to start testing that during Gemini 3H as well. And after Gemini 3H, we'll see what's next. We have a plan, and maybe looks like maybe we may be hitting it. So it's exciting times. All right. So highlights from the week. Let's start with, or from the last couple of weeks. Let's start with Natasha. There's been a much anticipated feature of the Block Explorer that there may still be some work being done on it, but I did see it added over the weekend. So Natasha, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. Hello, everyone. Now on the Blog Explorer, you will be able to see the leaderboards. The leaderboard can be for voting and blogs. That's for farmers specifically. And then we have the leaderboards for operators and nominators. So we suggest everyone to take a look at it. And if you find any issues, please create the issues on the GitHub. This week we will be focusing on completing this feature and make the possibility to nominate from the Block Explorer and adding more data to those leaderboards as well. So yeah, keep an eye on it. Thank you.
It's exciting to see. I see Jim is clapping. I know the community has uh, been looking forward to that. And as part of this, we've had the staking interface where you can interact and you see some of the stats and such with the operator. But the staking interface as it is now is meant to be a step towards kind of a more fully functional staking and nominating platform, which will be moving into the Block Explorer. And hopefully with much more robust statistics and such. So to help everybody in their nomination decisions. All right, next I already previewed a little bit, Ning. You want to talk about what you've been up to with fraud proofs?
Yeah, sure. For the last few weeks, I have been working on the intentional Melissa operators, which is only used on testing purpose to testing how the network's capability to handling the Melissa participant. And mostly it's testing around the fraud pool, how the honest operator can detecting the fraud and generate fraud pool and slashing the Melissa operator who submit test. And we had learning the Melissa operating test intentionally and already discover several of issue around fraud pool. And luckily, most of them are minors, and we have fixed. And while we are learning this testing internally, and as for the community members, you should not learning such Melissa operators because we have tests that you must get slash. So, but you are encouraged to learning it in your local networks. And if you found an issue, feel free to open an issue on GitHub and to help us to fix that. Yeah.
That's great. So Ning's been hacking, I guess, for the last few weeks, trying to find the holes in our protocol. So, all right. Finally, some I think pretty exciting news that Nazar's been working on in his spare time. I don't know where he gets spare time, but um, Nazar, you want to talk about kind of your little side project?
Yeah, I've been also hacking on something. It's called Space Acres. It's on my personal GitHub. It's well, basically, for a long time we heard from the community that they want a desktop application that is easy to use, and unfortunately, we don't have internal resources to maintain Subspace Desktop, at least at the moment. But we do have external resources, one of which is myself, I guess. So I created a small, simple application that can be used as a desktop application. Right now, the packages are built on releases for Windows only, but you can build it on Mac and Linux as well. Just need to figure out how to package it properly with all the dependencies. And the idea being that it is quite simple, and there are a lot of issues with decent descriptions in the repository, such that community members can also help contribute there. There are things from fixing some issues and UX problems to working on non-coding issues completely. So if someone is interested or has some Rust knowledge, I encourage you to take a look and maybe give it a try. And I'll try my best to review and help you guide with whatever you might be trying to do.
All right. Well, that's great. And we look forward to maybe helping guide the community and in those contributions and seeing what we can kind of get done in a joint effort. So, well, that's it for this week. We will see you. Actually, we will not probably see all of you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today is Christmas Day. So, in 3 weeks will be New Year's Day. So we will see everyone in 4 weeks, hopefully with a lot of new news to report. So